Hi, welcome to Aquarium Tech. My name is Michael. I will be your host. Today, our first video, pretty much first video, I would like to do a video on things you need to consider and what power filter, when buying a power filter, you need to think about. Today I'm really just going to be talking about power filter, mostly hang on back, because that's mostly what we use, but you know, underwater too, it is a power filter. But you know, not canisters or anything like that. I can get to that in a later video. But anyways, because you know most people use hang on back power filters. You basically have a few main brands. You have Aqueon, you got the Tetras, you got the Marineland Penguin Emperor and Magnums. Then you have your AquaClears. You have the new Fluval C4. They just have a new hang-on back power filter. You have the Vitalives. A lot of people don't see those. And then of course you have like your store brand stuff like Petco. I know they have them. Okay. Now most of them are very alike. Now like the Tetras, the Aqueon, the store ones, they're all going to be pretty much the same, as they have probably some kind of little plastic holster that they call the bio holster. They're going to have a single cartridge system, you know, with some wool around it, some dense wool, and carbon in there. And you know, that's pretty much all there is to it. They might have like a little piece of plastic like the Aqueons do. I know they do. I don't have it right now. My friend's actually borrowing it, but they have a little piece of plastic in there that impedes the flow at the end, and they call that a wet-dry biological filter. If you, I'll probably revisit this video and you can see what I'm talking about. It's quite a joke. But anyways, those filters are what probably most people buy, and those are what I do not suggest out of any filters. I do not suggest those. They do have good mechanical and they have okay chemical. In fact, sometimes you don't even need chemical, but I do suggest you use carbon. You know, some people don't, but I don't want to even get into that right now. But basically, they have good mechanical, okay chemical. The bio is just, it's pretty much non-existent, okay? And that's really important to running in a tank, and especially in a single cartridge system. I mean, you throw that cartridge out, there goes everything. Boom. I mean, you have your bio holster, but I mean, come on, please. So then, moving on, then you have your Marineland ones. They have like the Penguins and the Emperors. Now, these are a little bit better. Actually, the Tetra has a bigger model that has the double cartridge system too, but they, you know, at least the Emperors, you know, and I think the bigger Penguins, they have the bio wheels, and they have the double cartridge. Now, the bio wheels, you know, I don't know if you know this, but they definitely do not live up to the hype. I'm not saying they don't work, but they're definitely not great. I can think of a lot of things I'd rather use over the bio wheel. But the good thing is in those systems is that they do have good mechanical filtration and chemical, and their bio is okay. You know, it's better, definitely better than like an Aqueon or something. Then we can, and I'm talking pretty much strictly about hang-on backs here right now. And then the other ones that you might find, like the Vitalives are a little lesser known, but they're actually pretty good filters. They have a surface skimmer on them. Now that's not like the best idea, because I don't know if you can adjust the flow on them. I've actually never had one. That's one of the only ones I've never had. But I can, one thing I can see that I do like is it does look like it has a lot of customization that can be done with the filter media. And the surface skimmer, it looks pretty nice, but I have a feeling it might be more of a pain in the ass than it really is, considering most people use flakes to feed their fish because they're, you know, they're top feeders, so it would just suck in the flakes. But anyways, that's not a bad filter to consider. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of information on it right now. I haven't tested it, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But except from what I can tell by the pictures, it doesn't look like a bad filter. anyways, moving on to the the AquaClear and the Fluval. The Fluval is the new series, but the AquaClears have been around forever. In fact, my very first aquarium had one like 15 years ago. In fact, it's still running and I'm still using the same one on the same tank. But here's an AquaClear. This is the one I would suggest that you would commonly find in stores and such. And there's many reasons why. Let me get into it. First off, you know, it's very robust. It has a lifetime warranty on it from Hagen there. Hagen makes Fluval too. Lifetime warranty. It's got 3 stages in it, and they're all separate. They're not in one thing. And also another thing that's pretty nifty is you can, and here's a little pre-filter. I'll get to that later. Is this thing's actually so you can control the flow on here. I think the Vital Life can control flow too. I'm not sure what others can, but as you can see here, you can move it back and forth, and that actually changes the flow. In fact, on this cover, there it goes. On this cover here, there's actually a plus and a minus. So you know, it basically takes the tube off the propeller and all the way on the propeller. So that's how it changes the flow. The main reason why I like the AquaClears is, one, like I said, I've never had one break down, and 2, is their filtration system. Voila. Now, first off, before we even get into this, there's a lot of customization you can do in this one too. Basically, if it fits in this basket right here, I mean, if it fits in the filter, and the water flows out of the top, it'll work in the AquaClear. That's a very nice thing about it. And also, you've got here's the stages. You've got your Biomax, your biofiltration, which is pretty much God's greatest gift to, biofiltration. You've got your chemical, your carbon. Really, in the AquaClears, this is the only one that you have to replace, and you have to replace it like every month or 2. You know, at least once a month, wash it out. But you can only use it. That's all it's really good for. But it's the only part you have to replace. Like with the Biomax, you can just take this and make sure you rinse after the first time. You know, when you first get it, you can rinse it in tap water, but after that, make sure you rinse it in old aquarium water, or it's going to kill all your biological stuff in there, making it, having to start over again. And your sponge, your mechanical filtration, that's what it's for, but it also holds a lot of biological, bacteria and stuff in there. Same thing with this. You can keep reusing this. Just use aquarium water to wash it out after the first time. Okay. And so this is the only one you really have to worry about. So it really, in the end, it ends up being cheaper than the cartridge, most cartridge systems. Hey there, Peter. Coming to investigate what's going on here, little buddy. Alright. Just set that aside for now. Okay? And that's why I really suggest the AquaClear. Now, if you don't have a lot of room on the back of your tank, and that's something to consider, or something like that, you might want to go with an underwater one. And this is the one I would suggest. I don't have much experience with underwater ones, but I just went out and bought this one because I was pretty impressed with what I saw from the specs and the pictures and stuff. This is the Fluval U series. This is a Fluval U4 right here. Very simple to use. I didn't even read the manual on my first I'm sorry, not my first in-tank filter, but my second. And it's pretty darn easy. I'll show you how it works. Like that. I'll do another video here on this by itself, but that's just something to consider with the when buying a filter. That's whether it needs to be in the water or not. And most of them, you can put them like that too for tank space and stuff. Another thing, gallons per hour, one of the most important things to consider. A lot of manufacturers overrate their filters, they'll put it, like for instance, even AquaClears that I would suggest to you, they say like a AquaClear 20, for instance, can do a 20-gallon tank. Well, it only puts out 100 gallons. The actual flow rate of that filter is 100 gallons per hour. Well, that's only cycling the entire contents of the tank about 5 times. Generally, personally, I mean, 5 times will work, but I like to have at least 10 times. My filters, whether it has to be multiple filters or not, do it at least 10 times every hour. You don't have to go that high. I mean, that's not super high, but that's that'll keep you safe, definitely. But like I said, you can do with 5, but there's nothing, it's not going to hurt going higher, and it's only going to be better for your aquarium. Okay. Of course, it'll come just so you know, for you beginners out there, it'll say GPH, gallons per hour. Don't get on that tank. It'll say gallons per, it'll say GPH, which means gallons per hour. Just watch that on whatever filter you buy. Like for instance, the AquaClear 70, this guy does, I believe, 300 gallons per hour. So for me, I would use this on a 30-gallon tank, or I would use 2 of these on a 60-gallon tank. Okay. Another thing you might want to consider with your filters is a pre-filter. I'll probably do another show on this, but this is also something to consider. If you have any questions on it before I do the show, go ahead and send me on. But pre-filters are a very good way, especially in fry or quarantine tanks, to help fish not get sucked in. It also helps with the bio load and mechanical filtration. Alright, and I believe that is about it for things to consider, when you're buying an aquarium filter. If you have any questions or anything, let me know.